Hey everyone, Luke Dog here, and welcome back to Dragon Age 2. I almost said Origins 2. So, what are we gonna do now? We got all these rumors that we can't really act on at the moment. We could go to the Dalish camp, negate 50 sovereigns, and wait to the deep roads. Seek out a Grey Warden in Lowtown. Take Evelyn to the ambush site, or find Granddad's at will in Darktown. You get a rogue. And let's go deliver this shawl. Quick and easy. Huh, why'd you guys level up? Okay, Evelyn, we'll give you some more strength. Evelyn has outlived too many of those she loved. Years of hard training and loss have shaped her into an immovable force and an invaluable ally. The warrior spins into a vicious assault that inflicts significant damage and often throws enemies back. Give me some resistance. The warrior charges through enemy lines, felling combatants in the way. Varric. We'll upgrade that for you, of course. The archer unleashes an entire quiver into the air. For a short time after, the missiles rain down on enemy ranks. Yes, please. Okay, to the Blooming Rose.
I don't like some of the people you've been associating with, Carver.
Talk to my brother. He's the one in charge.
Maybe, but I know you get around. This city's full of people who are dead set on ending badly. I don't want to see you end up the same way.
Would asking you to stop spying on me help in the least?
No.
Guardsman Evelyn.
Oh, we gotta go this way. Here we are. Blooming Rose. Oh, press both at once to select the whole party. Interesting.
Quintus, can't I have just one drink?
Madam says no, and I'm not crossing that old back for anything.
I think I found something of yours.
I had never thought to see this again. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now then. Can I just fast travel by opening my map? Nope, that's just the area map. Guess not. Ooh. Chantry's apparently over here. Don't think we...
Put you to use, Varric. Have you penned some warnings for the lawless?
Who's that for? Are most criminals big readers? Seems like pacifying the nobles.
Pictures, then. It was just a suggestion.
Well, how about a giant sign that just says don't? You could hit people with it.
Thank you. I get the point.
Wrong button. How are these boots? Weren't over in this area, so let's explore. Anything over here? Here are the estates.
I thought the refugees were keeping to Lota.
Wrong button. Looks the same. What the heck?
Did Mistress want silk thread or cotton?
What do we got up here? Someone's old pair of shorts. Nothing over here.
Though the lands suffer 1,000 wrongs, the Maker yet notices the smallest of deeds.
Okay. Anything over here? Excuse me. What do we got? Holy water. I should probably return this to the Chantry then. Speaking of which, let's visit the Chantry. Anything of interest?
So, what do you do, Aveline?
You know I'm a guard. Why are you asking?
I mean in your off-duty hours, for fun. You've heard of it, I hope.
These are my off-duty hours.
And the trend of you scaring the piss out of me continues.
Blessed art thou who exists in the sight of the Maker. Sing of the chant so that it may reach his ears. Those Canari are a frightening sort. Demons, the whole lot of them. I do wish the Viscount would have them run again.
There was once a tiny fishing village on the waking sea that was set upon by the Tevinter Imperium, which enslaved the villagers to be sold in the markets of Minrathous, leaving behind only the old and the infirm. One of the captives was the child Andraste. She was raised in slavery in a foreign land. She escaped, then made the long and treacherous journey back to her homeland alone. She rose from nothing to be the wife of an Alamari warlord. Each day she sang to the gods, asking them to help her people who remained slaves in Tevinter. The false gods of the mountains and the winds did not answer her, but the true God did. The Maker spoke. He showed her all the works of his hands, the Fade, the world, and all the creatures therein. He showed her how men had forgotten him, lavishing devotion upon mute idols and demons, and how he had left them to their fate. But her voice had reached him, and so captivated him that he offered her a place at his side, that she might rule all of creation. But Andraste would not forsake her people. She begged the Maker to return, to save his children from the cruelty of the Imperium. Reluctantly, the Maker agreed to give man another chance. Andraste went back to her husband, Mafarath, and told him that all that the Maker had revealed to her. Together they rallied the Alamari and marched forth against the mage lords of the Imperium, and the Maker was with them. The Maker's sword was creation itself, fire and flood, famine and earthquake. Everywhere they went, Andraste sang to the people of the Maker, and they heard her. The ranks of Andraste's followers grew until they were a vast tide washing over the Imperium. And when Mafarath saw that the people loved Andraste and not him, a worm grew within his heart, gnawing upon it. At last, the armies of Andraste and Mafarath stood before the very gates of Minrathous, but Andraste was not with them, for Mafarath had schemed in secret to hand Andraste over to the Tevinter. For this, the Archon would give Mafarath all the lands to the south of the Waking Sea. And so, before all the armies of the Alamari and of Tevinter, Andraste was tied to a stake and burned while her earthly husband turned his armies aside and did nothing, for his heart had been devoured. But as he watched the pyre, the Archon softened. He took pity on Andraste and drew his sword and granted her the mercy of a quick death. The Maker wept for his beloved, cursed Mafarath, cursed mankind for their betrayal, and turned once again from creation, taking only Andraste with him. And Our Lady sits still at his side, where she still urges him to take pity on his children. From the Sermons of Justinia II.
Have you noticed the smell coming off her lately? It's like she's...
Carver. The first blight devastated the Tevinter Imperium. Not only had the Darkspawn ravaged the countryside, but Tevinter citizens had to face the fact their own gods had turned against them. Dumat, the old god once known as the Dragon of Silence, had risen to silence the world, and despite the frenzied pleas for help, the other old gods did nothing. The people of the Imperium began to question their faith, murdering priests and burning temples to punish their gods for not helping in return. In those days, even after the devastation of the First Blight, the Imperium stretched across the known world. Fringed with barbarian tribes, the Imperium was well prepared for invasions and attacks from without. Fitting, then, that the story of its downfall began from within. The people of the far northern and eastern reaches of the Imperium rose up against their powerful overlords in rebellion. The Tevinter Magister summoned demons to put down these small rebellions, leaving corpses to burn as examples to all who would dare revolt. The Imperium began to tear itself apart from within, throngs of angry and disillusioned citizens doing what centuries of opposing armies could not. But the Magisters were confident in their power, and they could not imagine surviving a blight only to be destroyed by their own subjects. Even after the blight, Tevinter commanded an army larger than that of any other organized nation in Thedas, but that army was scattered and its morale dwindling. The ruin of Tevinter was such that the Alamari barbarians, who had spread their clans and holds over the wilderness of the Ferelden Valley at the far southeastern edge of the Imperium, saw weakness in their enemy, and after an age of oppression, embarked on a campaign not only to free their own lands, but to bring down mighty Tevinter as well. The leaders of that blessed campaign were the great barbarian warlord Mafarath and his wife Andraste. Their dreams and ambitions would change the world forever. From Tales of the Destruction of Thetis by Brother Genetivi, Chantry Scholar. A satirical tome about a deluded brother of the Chantry who sought peace between elves and humans. A condemnation of fanatics of both races is favored by radical elves choosing to live in Darktown. Cordelius Dracon, king of the city-state of Orlais, was a man of uncommon ambition. In the year 15 Ancient, the young king began construction of a great temple dedicated to the Maker, and declared that by its completion he would not only have united the warring city-states of the south, he would have brought Andrastian belief to the world. In 3 Ancient, the temple was completed. There, in his heart, Dracon knelt before the eternal flame of Andraste and was crowned ruler of the Empire of Orlais. His first act as emperor, to declare the Chantry as the established Andrastian religion of the Empire. It took 3 years and several hundred votes before Alessa of Montsimard was elected to lead the new Chantry. Upon her coronation as divine, she took the name Justinia, in honor of the disciple who recorded Andraste's songs. In that moment, the ancient era ended and the divine age began. From Ferelden, Folklore and History by Sister Petrine. Nothing? In the 30th year of the Steel Age, the first Kunari ships were sighted off the coast of Par-Valen in the far north, marking the beginning of a new age of warfare. History calls this the First Kunari War, but it was mostly a one-sided bloodbath, with the Kunari advancing far into the mainland. Kunari warriors in glittering steel armor carved through armies with ease. Their cannons, the likes of which our ancestors had never seen, reduced city walls to rubble in a matter of seconds. Stories of Kunari occupation vary greatly. It is said they dismantled families and sent captives to learning camps for indoctrination into their religion. Those who refused to cooperate disappeared to mines or construction camps. For every tale of suffering, however, there is another of enlightenment deriving from something called the Qun. This is either a philosophical code or a written text that governs all aspects of Kunari life, perhaps both. One converted Saharan reported pity for those who refused to embrace the Qun, as if the conquerors had led him into a sort of self-discovery. For all my life I followed the Maker wherever his path led me, he wrote, but in the Qun I found the means to travel my own path. It has been said that the most complete way to wipe out a people is not with blades, but with books. Thankfully, a world that has repelled 4 blights would not easily bow to a foreign aggressor, and so the exalted marches began. The greatest advantage of the Chantry-led forces was the Circle of Magi. For all their technology, the Kunari appeared to harbor great hatred for magic. Faced with cannons, the Chantry responded with lightning and balls of fire. The Kunari armies lacked the sheer numbers of humanity. So many were slain at Marnes Pal on both sides that the Vale is said to be permanently sundered, the ruins still plagued by restless corpses. But each year, the Chantry pushed further and further into the Kunari lines, although local converts to the Qun proved difficult to return to Andraste's teachings. By the end of the Storm Age, the Kunari were truly pushed back. Ravain was the only human land that retained the Kunari religion after being freed, and its rulers attempted to barter a peace. Most human lands signed the Lamarin Accord, accepting the Tevinter Imperium. It is a shaky peace that has lasted to this day. From the Exalted Marches, an examination of Chantry warfare by Sister Petrine. There was no word for heaven or for earth, for sea or sky. All that existed was silence. Then the voice of the Maker rang out, the first word, and his word became all that might be. Dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities. And from it made his firstborn. And he said to them, In my image I forge you. To you I give dominion over all that exists. By your will may all things be done. Then, in the center of heaven, he called forth a city with towers of gold, streets with music for cobblestones, and banners which flew without wind. There he dwelled, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. The children of the Maker gathered before his golden throne and sang hymns of praise unending. But their songs were the songs of the cobblestones. They shone with the golden light reflected from the Maker's throne. They held forth the banners that flew on their own. And the voice of the Maker shook the fade, saying, In my image I have wrought my firstborn. You have been given dominion over all that exists. By your will all things are done, yet you do nothing. The realm I have given you is formless, ever-changing. And he knew he had wrought amiss, so the Maker turned from his firstborn and took from the fade a measure of its living flesh, and placed it apart from the spirits, and spoke to it, saying, Here I decree opposition in all things, for earth, sky, for winter, summer, for darkness, light. By my will alone is balance sundered, and the world given new life. And no longer was it formless, ever-changing, but held fast, immutable, with words for heaven and for earth, sea and sky. At last did the Maker from the living world make men, immutable as the substance of the earth, with souls made of dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities. Then the Maker said, To you, my second-born, I grant this gift. In your heart shall burn an unquenchable flame, all-consuming and never satisfied. From the fade I crafted you, and to the fade you shall return each night in dreams, that you may always remember me. And then the Maker sealed the gates of the golden city, and there he dwelled, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. Threnodies 5:1-8.
Maker's blessing, child. I am Elthina, Grand Cleric of Kirkwall, and I believe you're new to our city. It was a near thing what happened in Ferelden, but in the end, the Maker stepped in.
I hear a lot about the Knight Commander here. What can you tell me?
Gossip is a sin, child. Knight Commander Meredith has an admirable devotion to her duties.
To the exclusion of all else.
It is not my role to form opinions on her character.
Why are Circle mages here kept in a Tevinter prison?
Ah, so soon you take an interest in our problems. The short answer is it was a building, a large one. Should it have sat empty? The Chantry found a use for what was once a horror. It is the nature of men to move on and forget the past. Even your blight will be a distant memory in our lifetimes.
Can I get your benediction?
May the Maker bless and keep you. May his smile grace all the days of your life, and his light guide you to his side.
So let it be.
So let it be.
Far Cliffs of Kirkwall. Written by Ferelden refugees as she fled the Blight, this book of poems describes her dream of a new start in Kirkwall, the city across the sea. Readers will surely be enriched by her insights. Written by a Ferelden refugee as she fled the Blight, this book of poems contains touching reminiscence of all she had to leave behind. Readers will surely benefit from her experience. There's Par Valen. History of the Chantry. Aveline was born in Orlais, but she never knew the country. Her father, Benoit de Dulac, was a chevalier who lost his patron to the game of intrigue. He fled to Ferelden while Aveline was an infant, and though his holdings were meager, He was determined she would have the life he had lost. She would become a knight, no matter the cost. He eventually sold everything to sponsor Aveline into King Kaelin's service. Knightly skills seemed bred into Aveline's bones, but she had her doubts, starting with her namesake, Sir Aveline. The first female knight of Orlais was orphaned, mocked for her looks, and murdered when she dared stand with men in tournament. Her glory lies in tragedy, but the living Aveline doesn't revere sacrifice. A principled death is still a death. Her father was proud of her, but she would never be the knight he wished for. Aveline married Wesley Valen while serving in the Ferelden army. They were kindred spirits and determined guardians. His death during the Blight scarred her, not just his loss, but that she failed to protect him. Aveline has healed in the past year, but she has yet to forgive herself. Accordingly, she is fiercely protective of the Hawks and David. They share a bond in loss, a connection she cherishes but will not allow to be repeated. Revered Mother Athena assumed the mantle of Grand Cleric almost 20 years ago. She is responsible for the spiritual well-being of the Southern Free Marches, everything south of Starkhaven in the Minotaur River. She has long been a calming presence in the city, renowned for her kindness and generosity. People frequently turn to her to mediate disputes, particularly those involving the powerful Templar Order, over whom she holds authority as the Chantry's ranking representative. Some claim that Althena's advanced age has rendered her ineffective, and that she allows Knight Commander Meredith much leeway with each passing year. Some are calling on the new divine, Justinian V, to appoint a replacement, but they do so quietly, for Althena is by far the most beloved priest in the city has ever known. Okay, time to go. Let's leave. Let's see, we could go here. Tranquility. Okay then. Welcome to Darktown. Not a good idea.
Another one for me! How many of you got,
You were saying, Varric?
Down here, I guess.
Breaks the next tomorrow. Good payday.
What are you scowling about?
Tom Wise?
Huh? Oh, Hawk. Haven't seen you since Mirren hired me for that Red Iron job. Been a while. Heard you're going on some expedition into the Deep Roads, and right into Darkspawn territory. Sure that's wise?
I fought Darkspawn before.
Just watch your back. That's all I'm saying. Say, you still in the market for some poisons? The Red Iron's been scarce, and business has been a little slow. You find any rare reagents and want me to whip you up something, just let me know. In fact, since you're an old friend, here's a recipe. My speciality. Everyone needs an edge sometimes, right?
Thanks.
You know what
Yay!
love about the Undercity?
What?
Absolutely nothing.
Ah, I see.
Stop looking at me.
What's your issue now, little hawk?
Don't call... Just don't, all right? You're looking for fodder for your stories.
Do you think you're that interesting?
I have enough trouble being overshadowed as it is. I don't need to get caught under an imaginary me, too.
Don't you worry. I'm not in the business of lullabies or children's stories.
I believe you lost this somewhere.
You did this. Without being begged and thrice paid. Interesting.
See ya. Kaboom. I love mage combat in this.
Can we go home? Maybe Spawn left our house.
Deathroot has been used in magic and potion making for centuries. It's a fragile-looking plant with a thin stalk and purple flowers, which fruits once a year, developing bright red fleshy pods that cause disorientation and dizziness if ingested. There are two varieties. The more common Arcanist Deathroot is first found by Archon Hadrianus when he discovered it growing on several dead slaves. The other, Lunatic's Deathroot, is most closely associated with the story of the courtesan Melusine, who sought revenge on a powerful magister and his family. She harvested the plant, baked it into small pies for the magister's banquet, and presented them to the magister at a banquet. Kind of redundant there. All the guests were seized by terrifying hallucinations after eating the pies and tore each other to pieces. Yeesh.
Where's Puddles? He should get some food too.
Nice armor.
Mind your manners. This is my territory.
Okay. Just taking a look around here. Just seeing what there is. Rusty metal spoon. Darktown was once a mine controlled by the Tevinter Imperium. Once exhausted, the mine shafts were extended under the city to dispose of sewage from Kirkwall's overcrowded population of slaves. Unsurprisingly, the tunnels became a refuge for those fleeing captivity. A similar trend continues today. The Undercity, as some call it, is home to the diseased, the insane, to criminals, and even the dead. Unwanted corpses are often discarded here by murderers and lazy undertakers. Darktown slums make Lowtown look pleasant in comparison. The foul miasma known as choke damp clogs and swells in every corner of the Darktown, creating a poisonous mist. Its sewers are a dangerous place. The walls are damp, slick, and coated with phosphorescent lichen. The sewer is a maze, and one foolish enough to enter is not likely to be heard from again. Charming, Brother Genitivi. Charming. This is where I came from.
Wonder what...
For good or ill, the Imperium has put its stamp on Thedas forever. The old Imperial Highway is still in use across most of Thedas. The ruins of Tevinter fortresses and centers of magical study still litter our landscape, long after the glory of the Imperium dimmed. But the influence of that ancient empire goes deeper than this. Without Tevinter, there would have been no Blights, no Andraste, no Chantry. Every aspect of our world would be altered. The might and majesty of the Imperium may have faded, but but it still makes its presence known, even in the most distant corners of Thedas. Every child has been brought up on stories of Tevinter as it is now, a decadent nation, ruled by the Archon and his court of magisters, great, and no doubt corrupt, mage lords. Their chantry a mockery of our own, their Black Divine, a man chosen by the ranks of the Manratha Circle of Magi, the Maker's most hallowed law, magic exists to serve man and never to rule over him, perverted. Mages in the Imperium say their most sacred duty is to serve man, and they serve best by wielding political power. And the worst, that which blessed Andraste must weep to see. All of it is built on a foundation of slavery. While most nations forbid the buying and selling of slaves within their own borders, nearly everyone ships her people to the Imperium for sale, skirting the prohibitions against such atrocities, and feeding the Imperium's endless hunger for bodies. To fight the Qunari, to work the mines and quarries, to build the palaces of the Magisters, to sweep the crumbling streets, and turn the middens and serve at the whims of their mage overseers. From Black City, Black Divine, a study of the Tevinter Imperium by Sister Petrine.
Elven for shit heap was.
Well, this looks like the place. If the cellars go this far, maybe we were important.
Let's see.
You know what I love about the Undercity?
Not interested.
Absolutely nothing.
That's nice, Varric. Let's see what our estate was like. Retrieve the will from the family vault. A belt. A lot better than what I have. Here, Eveline. Have a belt. Sorry. Eesh. Ah, this music. Got him.
By all means, lead on.
If the mage Tobrius is still alive, he might be in the gallows. Find information about the letter and father's belongings that told of the death of an unnamed family friend. Excuse me, guys.
Maker, take you!
Boom!
Here! Come on! Thank me up or you...
And we got him. Nope, no potion for you.
You will fall!
Got him. As the Imperium's borders slowly receded after the devastation of the First Blight and the subsequent barbarian invasions, many outposts in the area, known today as the Free Marches, were cut off from centers of power. Numerous warlords tried consolidating the region into a single kingdom, but resistance prevailed. Emirius held out for almost a century until it fell to a slave revolt in 25 Ancient. It was not the first such revolt Emirius suffered, but it was the last. It started when an Alamari slave named Radun began earning popularity and power by pushing for better conditions. Radun's growing influence prevented the magisters from touching him, but eventually they had him poisoned. Furious, a group of Radun's supporters stormed the gallows and were massacred, and so began a bloody year-long rebellion. The city burned, and wealthy Hightown was sacked. The magisters hung before cheering crowds. Emirius assumed the new name of Kirkwall, Kirk meaning black, after its jetstone cliffs. The new city plunged into anarchy for over a decade, and its defenses fell into ruin. Kirkwall had been conquered many times since, the city's own independence suffering since the freeing of its slaves. From Kirkwall, The City of Chains by Brother Genetivi, 924 Dragon. Wait. Can you go this way?
Did that bastard Gambit put you up to this?
Someone's left a
I
surprise
knew I
here
should
for
have
us.
slit his throat.
Don't set the trap off. You set the trap off. Where did you come from? Aveline, if you see a big giant thing in front, don't walk over it.
Don't suppose I could give that a shot.
I...
Doing that.
What do we got? need to get my strength up. Don't step on the thingy.
That has to be the vault. If there's anything to learn about the family, that's where it is.
Let's hold off on that. Oh, never mind. Guess we have no choice. Ooh.
So this is it? Grandfather's will? Let's just take it back to Mother and be done with it.
I don't think there's any point in delaying the news.
We got Grandpa's will! Yay!
So I'm just saying, blood's blood and all, but you are taking advantage of my hospitality. It's only fair if you make something of a monthly contribution.
You sold my children into servitude. Now you're asking me to pay rent?
Maybe just put something towards food.
We found the will.
Grandfather left everything to Mother and us. I guess he had some sense after all. See for yourself.
I should... maybe...
To my daughter Leandra, and all children born of her, the estate in Hightown and all associated revenues.
We have a home, Mother. A real home.
They forgave me. Mother forgave me. But... Gamlen, how could you?
You're the one who ran away, Leandra. What happened to love is so much more important than money.
It is!
You didn't even come home for the funeral.
The twins were a week old.
We all have our burdens. Mine was looking after a life you abandoned. How long was I supposed to wait?
If it wasn't for the Blight, would we ever have come back here?
I always thought I would. But... I suppose you three are Ferelden to your toes.
Look, sister, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done it, but I did. And there's nothing I can do to get it back.
I don't expect that, Gamlen. It's enough to know Mother and Father didn't die angry. I'll petition the Viscount for rights to reclaim the estate. Make a willing, you'll have your house back within weeks.
You don't have the coin or standing to even get an audience with the Viscount. You've got to be someone in this city to live in that house again.
Then I had better get started.
Yay, we got a potential new home at some point. Okay, let's look at all the stuff I got. I don't like the color. We got an estate. We got an estate. That's the wrong thing I wanted to do. I wanted to do the journal. Gotta go to the gallows. Wait. Come on, brother. I got mail. Excuse me, Uncle. Hawk, if you're looking for work, there's a rich merchant in Hightown who's got trouble with his mining operation. If you haven't heard of the Bone Pit, the locals say it's cursed. I don't put much stock in it, but I had to turn down the job because of marchers and my crew making the rest superstitious. Go speak to Hubert Bartier in the Hightown Market if you're interested. Got another quest coming up. Now we can go. Go to the gallows. Charming place. You got an upgrade because of the thing we found.
I'm surprised you still travel with this, Aveline.
Carver, don't.
You're ever so busy with the guardsmen. It must be a burden to slum with the refugees.
It's oddly comforting that you insult me like I'm family.
That wasn't... No, I didn't mean that.
I know. But you should be glad that's how I took it.
I ain't getting anything. I need to get my strength up. Here, Tobias.
More mages. You talk. I'm going to ask the guards about their training.
I know your face. I am Tobias. You and that man are both hawks. I remember your father. Malcolm was a good man.
I found a letter you sent. About a friend of his you could not name.
Ah, the Templar. Your father could not write to him directly, lest the Order find out.
The Templar?
He allowed your father to leave Kirkwall. Rule is not served by caging the best of us. A wise man.
Not what I would expect from a Templar.
There was a time when the rules of the Order could be interpreted to suit a situation. Unlike these days. I will send the letters I held. It seems fitting that they return to family. Such a friendship. Few like your father remain. Even fewer like the Templar. Rest well at the Maker's side, Sir Morivar Carver.
Carver.
By all means.
I gotta go back home. Fine.
Maker's blessing on you.
Fine, we'll go back home.
Thinking of life in Hightown?
We're still a long way from cowing Templars with our titles, brother.
You could slap on a smile for a few days, for her sake.
She's not interested in what I think. She wants to provide for us, and you're making sure it happens. And when we're done, I don't know, I guess we'll sit around thinking about how great we used to be. Mother didn't even want that life back until we got dumped here. And you only care because we're under Templar scrutiny.
Very well, Carver. What's your plan?
I'd look forward. Make something new. Stop paying debts for old men. And if I had to go backward, I'm not looking for ancient names. I'd fix what's important. What went wrong.
We can't just go back.
We wouldn't need to if you'd done it right. Lothering was our home, not this place. We could have stood our ground. You could have stopped that ogre from killing Bethany.
You own as much of that as I do.
I never claimed to be head of the family.
Neither did I, but someone had to save your ass. All right.
Brother. I feel... I don't know. It's like Mother taking everything out on us. She was just scared. I don't have a place in the life she is trying to bring back. I'm here if you need me. But I must find my own way.
Here, I got you something.
Why?
We ended on a tense note last time. Take it as you will.
These are by father. Are you sure they aren't meant for you? I bet another mage could get more out of them. For your service that cannot be admitted, I ask that you accept this trinket and know that I shall respect your name. Thank you, Conscience of the Order, Sir Morivar Carver.
Carver? The Templar who allowed Father to leave Kirkwall. Your namesake.
A Templar? Have we met a Templar who isn't a colossal prig?
Father must have felt he was worth honoring.
A man who let him look ahead. And a name that would always mean skill thoughtfully applied.
Seems like he thought it held some promise.
Not a link back, but how to go forward. That's what I was to him. I don't know what to say. Except... thank you. I'm with you, brother. For now.
Yay! Gear up, everybody. Where should we go to next? Oh, I got more things here? Hold on. Do you have to stand right in front of the desk, Uncle? Hawk, I take back everything I said about your blighted family. You were right. You were the best we ever had. If you're looking for honest work and good coin, come see me in Lowtown. I can keep you busy for a while. Now, can I leave? go to Lowtown. Off we go.
Varric.
Carver.
Still think you're helping while bearing us in debt to your brother?
Still riding side saddle while bitching at your betters?
Drink later.
Never miss 'em.
You guys.
Unjust.
Will everyone please just step back? My mother's in labor. The baby's come early. Can anyone help her? I'll send word to the healer, but...
My son's hurt bad. Can't overturned on him in the blasted bone pit.
Everyone in your turn. I promise we have donations coming in. There will be food and medicine for all of you. If you're seeking aid, leave your name with my girl. We serve everyone here. No one came from Ferelden without trouble. But I can't give priority to anyone who's already found work and lodging.
Is there a way I can assist these people?
If you've coin to spare, we won't turn it down. Donations go in the box up front. Anything else?
I hear you know where I can find a Ferelden Grey Warden.
Only Ferelden Grey Warden I've heard of is sitting on the throne. We're out of the Blight's path now. Why would you need a warden? The healer was one of them once, wasn't he? A warden? Well, he's not now, and busy enough without answering fool questions about it.
Then I'll only ask very smart questions.
I do not joke, Sirrah. You see what our people face in Kirkwall. They have no jobs, no homes. Most can barely buy bread. This healer, he serves them without thought for coin. He's closed their wounds, delivered their children.
And yet he needs to hide.
He's a good man. I won't lose him to the blighted Templars.
You mean he's a mage?
Would I stick my neck out for some purveyor of hensbane and leeches?
Oh, perish the thought. Another delicate mage flower.
He doesn't want to be locked in the gallows just for using the gifts the Maker gave him.
Your healer is in no danger from me.
Right. Perfectly safe if he cooperates.
I suppose it isn't my secret to keep. Anders has certainly been free enough with his services. Refugees in Darktown know to find the healer, look for the lit lantern. If you have need enough, Anders will be within. Please, my mother, don't let her lose another baby.
Five sovereigns. Let's go, guys. Let's go see this Anders.
Hey, we heard you in there, asking about the healer. We know what happens to mages in this town. And it ain't gonna happen to him.
I'm as Ferelden as you. I won't harm your healer.
Ferelden? But your clothes. I figured you for a Kirkwaller, sorry. Maker bless the rule of our King Alistair.
Well, that was close. I contemplated whether to have Carver deal with it, but I wanted to try and not start a fight if I possibly could. Ooh, that's a nice one, but I don't have enough magic. Very got a little rune slot thingy. No, wrong one. Yep. Wow, I really do look like a mage now. Okay, let's sell some stuff. There we go. This way. Dogtown. Let's take a left. And then another left. And he's right back here. Knock, knock.
Made this place a sanctum of healing and salvation. Why do you threaten it?
I'm just here to talk.
We're interested in getting into the deep roads. Rumor has it you were a warden. Do you know a way?
Did the warden send you to bring me back? I'm not going. Those bastards made me get rid of my cat. Poor Sir Pouncelot. He hated the deep roads.
What? I would have never made you take that cat away. Who was it?
You had a cat named Sir Pouncelot in the deep roads.
He was a gift. A noble beast. Almost got ripped in half by a Genlock once. He swatted the bugger on the nose. Drew blood, too. The blighted warden said he made me too soft. I had to give him to a friend in Amaranthine.
Okay, seriously, which of my recruits did it? Ogren? Pretty sure it wasn't you. Valana? It was Valana, wasn't it?
So, you came to Kirkwall just to escape the Wardens?
You say that like it's a small thing. Yes. I'm here because there's no Warden outpost, no Darkspawn, and a whole host of refugees to blend in with. And some reasons of my own.
I've always heard that joining the Wardens is for life.
That's only partly true. The hopelessly tainted by the Darkspawn and plagued by nightmares about the Archdemon parts don't go away. But it turns out if you hide well, you don't have to wear the uniform or go to the parties.
I'm part of an expedition into the deep roads. Any information you have could save people's lives.
I will die a happy man if I never think about the blighted deep roads again. You can't imagine what I've come through to get here. I'm not interested. Although, a favor for a favor. Does that sound like a fair deal? You help me, I'll help you.
Let's be more specific. I don't do anything involving children or animals.
I have a Warden map of the depths in this area. But there's a price. I came to Kirkwall to aid a friend. A mage. A prisoner in the wretched gallows. The Templars learned of my plans to free him. Help me bring him safely past them, and you shall have your maps.
Tell me about your friend.
His name is Carl Thekla. He was sent here from Ferelden, when Kirkwall Circle required new talent. His last letter said the Knight Commander was turning the Circle into a prison. Mages are locked in their cells, refused appearances at court, made tranquil for the slightest crimes. I told him I would come.
Are these accusations true?
Ask any mage in Kirkwall. Over a dozen were made tranquil just this year. The more people you ask, the worse the rumors become.
What do the Templars know of your plans?
I don't know. I had been exchanging notes with Carl through a maidservant in the gallows. Then the letters stopped coming.
You want to make your friend an apostate?
That's such a weighted term. Yes, Andraste said magic should serve man, not rule him. But I've yet to find a mage who wants to rule anything. It goes against no will of the Maker for mages to live as free as other men.
I doubt the Divine would agree with that.
The Divine is only a mouthpiece for the Chantry. The Maker does not speak through her.
What, you teach the Templars their own faith? They seem pretty devout.
Never mind. I do not seek debate, only your aid.
How do you plan to break him out of the gallows?
I'm hoping it won't come to that. I sent Carl a message to meet me in the Chantry tonight. Maker willing, he'll be there, alone. But if there are Templars with him, I swear I'll free him from them, whatever the cost.
I would help any mage in such circumstances, map or no.
Better make this good. We're risking a lot if we anger the Templars.
I welcome your aid. I have already sent word for Carl to meet me in the Chantry tonight. Join us there, and we'll ensure that no matter who is with him, we all walk away free.
Okay.
Used to dream of food. Now just food.
So they're just about to have a conversation. Let's go to Hightown. At least get the Bone Pit quest started.
You there, Ferelden. I wish to speak with you. You've gained quite a reputation with the Red Iron Mercenary Band. I find myself in need of someone with your special talents.
Is there something I can help with?
I am a magistrate in this city, and as such, I wish to hire you for a small, albeit important, job. A man I sentenced to a life in prison has escaped custody. He's been tracked to an abandoned ruin outside the city.
A request that should have been made of the guard.
Why is there such a clamor to catch this man? What has he done?
He's escaped. That's reason enough to catch him.
Is there anything else I need to know?
There is something, yes. There are creatures in the ruins. The guards I sent are ill-equipped to deal with such beasts.
Do you know what manner of beasts they are?
I don't know what they look like. I've never seen one myself. The guards say these things have already torn through a full company of men.
It'd be easier to seal up the entrance and let the beasts take care of him.
I believe in justice, Ferelden, not unbridled slaughter. I will not let prisoners be eaten just because I don't want to get my hands dirty.
I'm sure if you send in enough men this time, they'd do fine.
No. The more guards who know, the easier it is for this to get out. Those men gossip like old fishwives.
This kind of feels like a setup.
I'll take the job.
Bring the fugitive in alive, quickly and quietly. Not only will you be well paid, you'll have the gratitude of a city magistrate. Useful for a refugee, wouldn't you agree?
Well, considering you wouldn't even tell me what the guy was guilty of, I don't know. Yeah, hold on. Now it really clashes.
An adventurer has need of a good tailor.
You want daggers? Got them too.
Flip this ring. Hey, Hubert.
Here you're having problems with the bone pit. I can help.
Ah, finally someone comes to help me. You look a bit unseasoned, but I hope you'll do. I had to suspend operations. My workers are lost in the mines or have run off. Served me right for hiring Ferelden refugees. I sent others before, but no word. Perhaps they are putting me off. I need someone competent to figure out what is going on.
Your first mistake was naming your mine the Bone Pit.
The locals named the mine. Those fools say it's cursed. That is why I hire Fereldens. They may be dull-witted, but they're not superstitious.
Mind what you say about my countrymen.
I was not referring to you, of course. My workers are a particularly desperate sort. They're lucky to work for me. Few in Kirkwall will hire refugees.
Surely the miners had good reason to leave.
I am at a loss. No miner has reported in, and no one takes me seriously.
The bone pit must be dangerous if people are afraid to venture there.
No, nothing like that. Pay no heed to local superstition. The bone pit is mostly harmless.
You said some of your workers are Ferelden.
Of course. Who else would be pathetic enough?
Yes, all of them. An unruly lot, to be sure.
What's the reward?
I will pay handsomely. The exact amount depends on what perils you face.
I'll head there soon.
The sooner the better. Each day the mine is not running costs me more than those miners make in a year. The bone pit is just outside the city. Any map will show it.
Okay. Well, I want to go and help Anders' friend. So I'll do that. Then I'll call it.
These streets should be safe at night. Care to help out with that?
Okay. Everyone's gone to bed. Stores are all locked up. Kaboom! Freeze! And kaboom! There we go.
I don't make my guards fight gangs in dark corners, but if you'd like to help...
Okay, ma'am? No, wrong way. This way. Hey, Anders.
I saw Carl go inside a few minutes ago. No Templars so far. Are you ready?
I didn't see anyone suspicious out here. Let's do this fast.
All right. I'll handle the talking. You watch for Templars.
I didn't see anyone suspicious other than the mob that tried to gang up on us just a moment ago.
When we find Carl, just let me talk to him.
Okay.
Anders, I know you too well. I knew you would never give up.
What's wrong? Why are you talking like...
I was too rebellious, like you. The Templars knew I had to be... made an example of.
No!
How else will mages ever master themselves? You'll understand, Anders. As soon as the Templars teach you to control yourself. This is the apostate.
No!
You will never take another mage as you took him.
Sorry, I don't want to do this. Kaboom. Man, these guys are just coming. Freeze. Ooh. Heal Varric. Heal Aveline. Why don't you just die already? You two. Fire. No. No! Ah, dang it. There's an achievement for going a year in Kirkwall without anyone falling unconscious. God dang it.
Anders, what did you do? It's like you brought a piece of the Fade into this world. I had already forgotten what that feels like.
I thought the Tranquil were cut off from the Fade forever.
When you're tranquil, you never think on your life before. But it's like the Fade itself is inside Anders, burning like a sun. Please, kill me before I forget again. I don't know how you brought it back, but it's fading.
Carl, no. Maybe we can find a cure.
Can you cure a beheading? The dreams of tranquil mages are severed. There is nothing left of them to fix.
I would rather die a mage than live as a Templar puppet.
I would rather die than be tranquil. Help him.
I got here too late. I'm sorry, Carl. I'm so sorry.
Now! It's fading! Why do you look at me like that?
Goodbye. We should leave before more Templars come.
Aveline, I know it was my fault, but you kind of cheated me out of an achievement. Possibly. Phooey.
That wasn't normal magic you just did, was it?
This is hard to explain. When I was in Amaranthine, I met a spirit of justice who was trapped outside the Fade. We became friends, and he recognized the injustice that mages in Thedas face every day.
And that's different than a demon?
Just as demons prey on the deadly sins of mankind, there are good spirits who embody our virtues. Spirits of compassion, fortitude, justice. They are the Maker's first children, and they have all but given up on us.
What does this have to do with your eyes glowing?
To live outside the Fade, he needed a host. I offered to help him. We were going to work together, bring justice to every child ever ripped away from his mother to be sent to the Circle. But I guess I had too much anger. Once he was inside me, he changed.
So, you have this spirit of justice living in your head?
It's not like that. He's gone now. He's part of me. It's not like we can have a conversation. I feel his thoughts as my own. Not even the greatest scholar could tell you where I end and he begins.
This is obviously difficult for you.
For him. We'll be hunted for sure now.
I thought I was helping my friend. He would have died, I guess. If that even means anything. And he wanted to help me. He knew what mages have suffered. But my anger, when I see Templars now, things that have always outraged me, but I could never do anything about, he comes out. And he is no longer my friend, Justice. He is a force of vengeance, and he has no grasp of mercy.
Can justice ever be separated from you?
I don't think so. The only way a spirit has ever been separated from a living host is by its death. The curse is of my own making. All I can do now is hope to control it.
Can you bring him out at will?
No. He comes only when I've lost all power over myself. It's a madness, a frenzy. I only find out after what I might have done.
Is there anything I can do for you?
You're the first one I've ever told this. Thank you for not running away. My maps are yours. As am I, if you wish me to join your expedition. I thought I was done with the Grey Wardens. But if you have any need of me, I will be waiting here.
Cool. Time to level you up, Anders. The rage that Anders feels over the Chantry's mistreatment of mages rapidly transformed justice into vengeance. Heal becomes a tide of restorative energy. No, I want to... Come on. Want that upgrade. Can I not? Screw it. Fine. Renegade's coat. And Freedom's Call. Okay, let's save the game. And we'll call it a day. Next time, continue on. Yeah, leave that for later. We'll continue onward, maybe do some more side quests. Speaking of which, what do we got? Various sources say a woman by the name of Matcha has been desperately seeking a particular Templar. She's been spotted outside of the Chantry in Hightown during the day. Bring the Grey Warden Master Bartrand at the Dwarven Merchants Guild in Hightown. Talk to Varric in Lowtown's Hanged Man. Go to the Bone Pit. Speak to Miriam in Lowtown. Go to the old ruin outside the city and apprehend the criminal. Okie dokie. Well, if you liked this video, let me know in the comments. If you really liked it, press that cute little like button. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Luke Dog, and I'll see you next time.